Hey Dreamers, I'm Bryce, musician, songwriter, and a big fan of Metallica, but I don't know what my favorite song is. Could it be To Live Is To Let Die? Let's use math to find out. Cue the intro.
Shoot it, give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! To Live Is To Let Die, the second to last track on And Justice For All, the instrumental, and it's over 9.5 minutes long, so you know this episode's probably going to drag on forever because I have a tendency to blah, 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 but we are not grading this based on how much I talk. We're grading it on the following categories: lyrics, instrumentation, composition, memorability, and emotional response. The scale is 0 to 4 with a grand total of 20 points. And hold your horses, I know it's an instrumental, so we're taking those 4 lyric points, we're making them 0, and we're distributing those extra points to every other category. So now each category is worth 5, but because there's no lyrics, the grand total is still 20. So it still has a chance to make it to the top. Will it? I don't know, but you better hit that subscribe button right now because a lot of you watching this stuff aren't subscribed, and we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Just hit 200, so we've got plenty of subscribers left to go to get to 1,000, but I know we can do it. I love each and every one of you. Shout out to the newcomers. Let's get right into the music. To live is to let die. Here we go. You got a nice acoustic intro. It's so beautiful. It's a very beautiful intro. I don't know how I feel about the drums being there. They're fine. Needs bass. I've always been curious why Lars doesn't do the side stick. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he only uses a side stick in one song in their entire catalog. I don't know for sure. I've been secretly watching for it, but so far we haven't heard it, and I don't think we're going to hear it until the next record. You know what song it is. Drummers out there, you know what song it is. Maybe you don't. Maybe I'll point it out and you'll be like, mind blown. But I'm pretty sure it only happens in one song. This would be a perfect place for a side sit. But he uses the snare because he's Lars. Of course he does. It is a beautiful piece. I've never understood this transition. Right, it does not. It's so interrupty to me, and I've never liked people that interrupt other people. And this feels like one band interrupting another band. We have this nice little classical piece with some drummer from the 80s, but it's a nice little, like, it doesn't sound straight acoustic. I mean, it feels like it's either really high on the neck on an acoustic guitar, or maybe it's some sort of mandolin. It doesn't sound 12 string. It could be a classical guitar. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a higher sound. There's not a whole lot of low end, and then just out of nowhere, and it's a completely different rhythm, completely different tempo. 4, I guess that was in 4, and this is in 4 too, but it's a different, it's just, it interrupts, and I kind of don't like it when things interrupt. I don't know, that puts me off. Sorry, but this is a bad way to start a song. 3, 4, 1. It's also real slow. That's 4 times through the riff. New riff. Picks up a little bit. Back to the main riff. You know, this slow moving dirge really comes, like, it really starts to shine in the Load and Reload era. There's some songs in those two records that feel like they're kind of calling back to this da da pa do do do, this really slow tempo drumming, really slow tempo playing everywhere. And there's that little quick little do 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 do, but this is just a real, they're just taking their time with it. I don't know. I'm not really into it. This whole second half of the record has been really falling off for me. We have such amazing, we have Blackened, we have One, we have And Justice for All, a lot of really hard-hitting, really cool, interesting compositions at the start of the record. And now for the last couple songs, it's been kind of like, meh, that's skippable. I don't know. And then now we have this really slow instrumental. If you compare this to Orion, that opened with this really cool effect-driven bass guitar, and the riff was really headbangy. And then if you go back to Cthulhu, there was this like ominous, like, what's around here? Something is lurking in the deep, and then it just comes in. And this one, we have this really beautiful intro, and then it's just, it's a slow dirge. Gotcha, punked. You've been punked. I don't know, it falls off. It's a fine riff. Back to this. So we halved it. Now we got a lead. Now we have a new riff. So they're doing some things right. From a composition standpoint, they are building the song. They did 4 times through the riff, and then they did the dun 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 2 times. And then they have 2 times through the riff, go back to the dun 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 dun. And now they do 2 times through the riff again, but this time with a lead. So they're gradually building it. They're changing the amount of times it's played. They're building it. They're adding instruments on top of it. Now we have this new riff, which again feels very bum. Ba-da-da-da-da. Bah. It's kind of like it's taken its sweet time, and maybe this is, I don't know what it's trying to illustrate. I know that they're all grieving the loss of Cliff Burton, and I feel for that. I've lost a lot of people in my own life, and so I know that the grieving process can be very hard for a lot of people. I don't know I know that this song is probably them kind of calling back to Cliff. I haven't done the research, but I'm sure he's probably written a handful of these riffs. I know that there's some poetry in here at some point, but it doesn't, unless their intent is to illustrate like the slog through everyday life. I don't know, maybe that's it. Maybe that is it. But as for instrumentals, as instrumentals are concerned, that's not what interests me. I don't want to listen to songs that remind me of how life is such a slog. I don't want to listen to a tune that makes me feel like I'm trudging. I can trudge all day long and get to music to escape reality later, but it just feels so, and it's too slow for me. Bum. Back to this riff, different lead. Back to this riff again, picks up a little bit. I really appreciate that build. Oh yeah, a little blues. I love that. Like I think if I'm not mistaken, that is an effect where you have certain, let me get a guitar. My SG has 2 different pickups here. We've got a rhythm and we've got a treble, and then there's a piece in the middle. Oh, you can't even see it. There's a rhythm and a treble here, And this switches between two different sounds, essentially, for the layman's. There's one volume here for this side, and there's a second volume here for when I switch it up, like that. And so what you can do is you can keep it on, maybe if you have it on the rhythm, for instance, and you have it all the way turned up, and you turn all the way down on the treble side, then when I switch from rhythm to treble, it cuts off the sound because the volume is all the way gone. So what you can do is hold the note. You can use that to have that cut off effect. So you're still holding the note, and when you turn it off with this switch, you turn it back on, the note is still being held, but the pickups aren't picking it up when you turn it off. And so that's I think the effect he's using. That's that clicky sound, but it's still ringing out. Really cool sound. And there's something about the way that he holds out that first note that's just so blue. Let's listen to it one more time. Just back up a couple seconds here. Yeah, do you hear the switch? It's really cool. And just that slow bend. It's not like a it's a it's a slow drag up, real bluesy, real cool. Oh, third time through the riff? Fourth time. Okay. Don't usually solo over this part. Back to this. Okay. Bringing back it's like a kind of a chorus feel to it because it's a repeated riff or a repeated solo line. It's a melodic solo. It's not a blah, blah, blah solo. It's singing. I need a change. Okay. There it is. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. Harmonized guitars. Yeah. That's cool. That is cool. There is sort of it's a clean guitar. I don't know if it's being played through a small speaker or if it was reamped or something like that. There is an effect. I can hear sort of a chorusy, flangey sort of effect on there, but it's a clean guitar and it sounds very small. And this is really capturing that grief moment. I'm picturing a music video of, like, I don't think there's a music video for this song, but I'm picturing like someone holding a little one of those little jewelry boxes that maybe has like a little dancer inside or like just plays a song. But I'm just imagining like a dark old wooden room, wooden floors, wooden walls, beat up, like just empty room, and someone just sitting in there like holding this treasured piece, and somber and just like wishing, right? I don't know what they're wishing for, what they're missing. It's probably Cliff Burton, but this part really, this is where the song sings. That whole intro section, the acoustic part, excellent. Everything up until now, after the acoustic part till now, has been kind of skippable to me. But now we're getting to the meat of the song. Oh, that's the volume pedal. want you to notice the drums again. I always want you to notice the drums. When they're playing in 3/4 on songs like One, and even earlier on this song, when we first transitioned to 3/4, Lars was hitting the snare on the 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, right? Now he's hitting the snare on the 1 of the second measure. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, snare, 2, 3, kick, 2, 3, snare, 2, 3. And that makes this flow a lot more. The first version, kick, 2, snare, kick, 2, snare. That one is a little more janky. It kind of gets you chopped up a little bit. You don't really know where to fall, and you have to add some more kick hits to kind of keep the flow right. This one has a lot more sway to it. Now we're in that really emotional, deep, dark abyss of like worry, of grief, of the world weighing you down. Really beautiful. It's almost like violins, right? They really sing. Okay, so there's at least a couple of guitars going here. We have that clean part, do, 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 do. And then we have the, which sounds to me like harmonized guitars. It could be one guitar just holding out chords, but it sounds to me like it might be two different guitars. I'm not sure. And then we have a solo on top of that. Again, layering tracks is okay, but when you're writing songs yourselves, make sure you keep this in mind, because someday you might want to play the song live and you're going to have to miss one of these parts, and your audience might miss it too. It's been a while since I've seen them, a video clip of them playing this live. I don't know what it sounds like by comparison, but I know that me as a sound nerd, I grow attached to these little background elements, and I want them there. So when they're not there live, it's disappointing. I guess the one that I'm referring to the most is Chop Suey by System of a Down. Saw them live and was extremely disappointed because they only have one guitar player live, but the chorus to that song has like 3 or 4 guitars going, and naturally Darren picked the weird one. I don't know why. It just doesn't match for me. But I guess we're not talking about that song. I'm just saying, as you're writing your pieces, when you're layering in the studio, keep in mind, people might fall in love with the parts that you can't play live. It's not that you can't perform them, it's just that you only have so many guitarists to pull it off. So you either hire a new person, or you have backing tracks, or you just write what you're available to play. Whatever the case, just keep it in mind. Not a problem, not bad, not a knock on the song, just calling it out. Okay. All right. Three, 1. There's a snare on 3. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay. Okay, I gotta call attention to this. We're still in 3/4, but because of the drum pattern, it feels like 4/4. How does that work? He is doing kick on the 1 and snare on the 2, and it sounds like he's doing kick on the 3, snare on the 4. But what's actually happening is it's sections of 3, so it's kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare. And so it ends up feeling like boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha. But it's actually playing boom. Let's hear it. Boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha, boom, cha. Right? But he's not emphasizing that way. That feels a little. I I don't know. He's playing it straight. Boom, cha, boom, cha. The guitars are still playing in 3, but he's playing in sections of, it feels like he's playing in 6/4 and they're playing in 3/4 because he's playing a more straight pattern. I don't know. It's just very interesting. And as we get further, I believe he starts adding snare on all 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. So it's nice to come from that real slow melodic sad piece to, which was going on kick on the 1, snare on the 1 of the next measure, boo, t, t, ka, t, t, to then we got that more weird feel where he's hitting the snare on the 3, boom, t, ta, boom, t, ta, boom, t, ta, and now we're going boom, ta, boom, ta, and then ta, ta, ta. It's a build. It's a composition. It's just like a guitar or a bass. You're adding to the parts to build it to a bigger part of the song. And I'm hoping this pays off because I haven't heard it in a while. I don't know where it goes, but got double kick. Yep, we're climbing. Oh, no, it doesn't, does it?
When a man lies, murder sits apart in the world. These are the ailments which millions call their life.
It was so cool. It was a cool build. It took us 7 minutes to get to it, but it was finally going really well. And then they held out the note and they went back to the boring riff. This riff is really making this song hard to listen to and hard to enjoy. Not because of the riff itself, just the placement. I think it's the drums. I think it's just the halftime feel. Again, if he was playing a straight pattern, boo, doo, 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 if he was going straight through, it would probably give the song a little more energy. It's also lacking low end, just like every other song on this record, but it just doesn't have the feel it needs. And that's really sad. And maybe they're trying to make me sad, but it's hard to enjoy. So we got some poetry here. Is that James's voice? I can't tell.
All this I cannot bear to witness.
It sounds like him.
Cannot the kingdom of salvation take me home.
There we go. There's the straight pattern. Finally. 8 minutes into the song. This one again. Just not the right song for it, I think. It's fine, I guess. That was cool. There was a little 3 section in there. They had a little change up. That's cool. Not going back to it. I'm done. Okay. Really? Really? I mean, at least it's beautiful. Hey guys, how do we end the song? We just do a couple hits and then just fade in a different song. It's like someone flipping through the channels. No, 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 no. Okay, this one. It just ends there, I guess. It's not even really a fade out. The guitars just kind of stop. And I guess it probably goes right into the next track, but wow, I'm not a big fan of this one. Let's get to the numbers. Whoosh. Lyrics. What is the song about? Well, it's an instrumental, but I will read the little poetry at the end. If I'm not mistaken, this was written by Cliff Burton, but I don't recall offhand. It says, "When a man lies, he murders some part of the world. These are the pale deaths which men miscall their lives. All this I cannot bear to witness any longer. Cannot the kingdom of salvation take me home?" Now, it's some really touching words. I'm not going to express much feeling on them because they're such a minimal part of this song that this is still considered an instrumental. We're not going to grade this on lyrics, so just like any other instrumental, it's getting a 0, but we miss you, Cliff, and we love you. Rest in peace. Instrumentation. How'd they do? I don't know. They did fine. This song just doesn't stick for me. I think there's some good stuff in there. There's some cool drum changes. I like the switch up of playing on the snare on the 3 and then playing it on the 2 and then playing it on the 1s. So that's really cool. I really appreciate the acoustic intro. I appreciate that middle section a lot. I really like it. I don't like how everything comes together, but we'll talk about that in the next category. So since this is out of 5, instrumentally, I don't know which way to lean on this one. I can't say anything positive or anything negative. It's just kind of right in the middle for me. So instrumentation, this one gets a 3. Composition. This song doesn't do it for me, basically at all. And that's really unfortunate. I do like their instrumentals a lot. I typically love them. But this one really just drags. And maybe that's intentional. It's probably intentional. I'm sure the comments are going to tell me it's intentional. It's illustrating something from I don't know. I don't care because this is something I'm supposed to like listening to. I'm supposed to want to listen to it. And I don't want to have to do research to enjoy it. Surface value doesn't do it for me. The only saving grace, the only reason this doesn't get a 0 is because I really like the acoustic intro outro and I really like that middle section. But the rest of the song, as far as I'm concerned, is pretty much worthless, skippable. So I'll give it 1 point. Compositionally, that's a 1. Memorability. I don't know. There's a couple parts that stand out, but for the most part, the thing that stands out is that it's the song that I typically skip. I think that right from the beginning, it's a very memorable acoustic guitar part. I wish they would have expanded on that piece and built the instrumental based off of that. But then it just interrupts. Dun, 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 dun. And it's like, whoa, wait, hey, what are you doing in here? I was listening to a different song. And then ba-da, ba-da, and the acoustics are like, can we come back? We still have some stuff to play. It's the same stuff from the beginning, but whatever, we're back. So I guess that is memorable, but it's a negative memorable. So I can't really give it much at all. I'm going to give them just a little bit because I remember that I don't like it. Memorability, it's a 1. Emotional response. You saw my mood. It just deflated balloon. But it wasn't high. It was just on the ground. It was just along the bottom of the floor. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I do really, really, really appreciate that intro. I can't emphasize that enough. That intro is very beautiful, and that middle section is very beautiful. Ever since they go to that, when it all stops and it goes to that small guitar that I was talking about with the open box or whatever it is, that part up to the build back to the main riff is really awesome. I wish that was the whole song. I honestly wish that was the whole song. But because we had to trudge through 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes of the rest of it, I'm done. I don't need this song at all. And I would be fine if I didn't hear it again. And that's not a knock on the band. I still love the band to death. I appreciate what they do. I appreciate what they've done. I'm wearing their merchandise. I love them. Don't get me wrong. It's just that this song doesn't do it for me. When I look for something that makes me happy in music, this song doesn't come to mind. So Emotional Response will give them just a little bit for those nice little moments at the beginning and in the middle, but the rest of it doesn't do it for me. So Emotional Response, that's a 1. And so To Live Is to Let Die gets a whopping 6 points, which is not enough to make it to the top 10. As a matter of fact, it's actually not even good enough to beat The Frayed Ends of Sanity. So this is song number 30 out of 34. Pretty low on that list, and it's unfortunate. But don't get me wrong. Don't come at me yet, commenters, because we've got plenty of really great material left. Remember, tomorrow we got a really, really great song ahead, and the Black Album is next. So we're going to be hitting that top 10 real hard. Let's take a look at that top 10 right here. We got One still holding its own at the top. We've got Orion sitting on the chopping block. I'm sure that'll be going very soon. I don't know for sure, but it's this whole list is in danger right now. So that's our top 10. Please tell me in the comments below, what do you think? What score would you give this song? If you were rating based off of my system, what points would you give it? And hit that subscribe button, because we're looking for 1,000 subscribers. We just made it to 200. Thank you so much to everybody who's new here. I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we discuss Dyer's Eve. Thanks for watching.